Welcome back to Claw and Fossil. I'm your host, and today we're plunging into the Cretaceous oceans to meet predators so terrifying, so perfectly adapted to its world that it makes even sharks look like minnows. This is the story of the Mosasaur, the true Leviathan of the late Cretaceous seas. So, forget Jurassic Park's oversized movie monster. The real Mosasaurus was far stranger, far deadlier, and they ruled the Earth's ocean for over 25 million years. To understand mosasaurs, we have to start small, literally. They weren't dinosaurs, they weren't even crocodiles, they were actually squamates, part of the same group as modern lizards and snakes. About 98 million years ago, a group of monitor lizard like reptiles adapted to life in shallow coastal waters. Over evolutionary time, their legs transformed into flippers, their tails elongated and flattened, and they developed the perfect blueprint for marine predation. By the late Cretaceous, mosasaurs had diversified into over 40 known genera, ranging from 3 small meter species to absolute giants like Mosasaurus hoffmanni, stretching over 15 meters. That's longer than a school bus. Let's break down why mosasaurs were apex predators. Let's get to their skulls and jaws. Their skulls were actually double hinged with hyperextendable jaws, allowing them to swallow large prey whole, much like snakes. Rows of conical recurved teeth lined both their jaws and the roof of their mouth. A secondary set known as pterygoid teeth. Hopefully, I did not butcher that. But once you're caught, there was no escape. Let's get to the tail. Fossil evidence from Jordan and Morocco shows mosasaurs had a powerful downturned crescent shaped tail fin. Similar to sharks, this design gave them bursts of speed to ambush prey. Let's get to their limbs. Their front and back limbs evolved into paddle like flippers, reducing maneuverability on land but granting superb stability underwater. And for their lungs and metabolism, they were air breathing reptiles resurfacing like whales, and isotopic studies actually suggest many had elevated metabolic rates, possibly warm blooded, which gave them endurance and pretty much in long distance swimming. This combination actually made them the apex predators on every continent seas. Mosasaurs were not picky eaters, and that's what made them so deadly. Evidence from stomach contents and bite marks tell us they preyed on ammonites and shelled cephalopods, crushing them with specialized teeth. Sea turtles sometimes bitten clean in half, large bony fish and sharks, and even other mosasaurs. They were cannibalistic when necessary. They hunted using ambush strikes, powered by explosive bursts of speed from their tails. Unlike modern sharks that rely on sustained swimming, mosasaurs were sprinters, using the element of surprise to overwhelm their prey. And once in those double jaws, let's just be real, you're not coming back from that. Alrighty, let's take a quick break. If you're enjoying Claw and Fossil, don't forget to follow this podcast on YouTube, or you can follow us on Instagram. Make sure to know that if you're feeling extra supported, leaving a review helps other listeners discover our deep dives into prehistoric worlds. Remember, this podcast is about more than fossils, it's about piecing together the story of life itself, one claw, one tooth, one ancient bone at a time. Now, let's get back to the oceans of the Cretaceous. Think about what we learned and what you might think. All right, welcome back. So, we're going to get back on topic here. The late Cretaceous seas, right? They were some of the most dangerous ecosystems in Earth's history. Mosasaurs shared oceans with plesiosaurs, massive sea turtles, giant predatory fish, Zephactinus, and sharks like Cretosirena, named the Ginsu shark. But mosasaurs, especially their larger species, sat firmly at the top. Fossil evidence shows mosasaurs actively preyed on almost everything else, even the so-called Ginsu shark, sometimes wound up as dinner. In fact, paleontologists call them the tyrannosaurs of the sea because just like T-Rex on land, mosasaurs were the undisputed apex predators of their environment. But let's be clear on one thing. Dominance doesn't guarantee survival. At the end of the Cretaceous, around 66 million years ago, the chinks, chicks, I'm butchering that so badly. I'm so sorry. The Chicxulub asteroid struck Earth. The global consequences were catastrophic. Tsunamis blocked sunlight, collapsing food chains. Mosasaurs dependent on the thriving marine ecosystems were among the first casualties. As plankton died, fish populations collapsed, and mosasaurs, unable to adapt quickly, went extinct alongside the dinosaurs, plesiosaurs, and ammonites. Their disappearance left the oceans open for new rulers sharks, whales, and eventually us. Though extinct, Mosasaurs left behind a powerful legacy. They represent one of the evolution's boldest experiments, taking a land lizard and reshaping it into a supercharged marine predator. Their closest living relatives are still around today, monitor lizards like the Komodo dragon and even snakes, which share similar jaw mechanics. Modern whales also echo their story. Land mammals that returned to the sea became apex predators. In many ways, mosasaurs were a prototype for future marine dominance, a role later taken by cetaceans. And thanks to the fossil record, particularly in Morocco's phosphate beds, we have thousands of mosasaur specimens that continue to reveal details of their anatomy, ecology, and evolutionary innovation. So, next time you picture the oceans of the Cretaceous, forget the Hollywood exaggerations. The real monsters of the deep weren't dinosaurs at all. They were lizards turned leviathans, armored with double jaws, shark like tails, and a hunger that knew no limits. This has been episode 3 of Claw and Fossil. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe for our next dive into prehistory, where claws and fossils tell the story of life's greatest experiments.